Jackson Lee. She represents Texas 18th District and is a member of the House Homeland Security Committee. Congresswoman, thank you so much for your time.
Thank you for having me.
I think first off, a lot of people heard the director of the CDC say in this stunning development that in a sense the CDC did not have all hands on deck, that they've amended their strategy since these cases in Dallas. But I think, Congresswoman, in our minds, we figured the CDC had practice runs here, and that if, in fact, a case sprout up in the United States, that it would have already had a plan, not one that was a work in progress. Do you have confidence in the CDC director and the CDC at this point, now that we have these 3 cases in Dallas where there were clearly some huge questions that have not been answered?
Cameron, first of all, I want to offer my expression of concern for the 2 nurses that have been impacted, and to make the very, I think, obvious point that our medical professionals, beyond our doctors, are the infrastructure of our hospitals, and that we're on a red alert. We're on a crisis. We are not hysterical, but we're on a crisis. I'd make the argument that the Centers for Disease Control is a vital organ of this health infrastructure, and the head of it, Dr. Frieden, has been a very good leader. But what I am concerned about and really frustrated is that we did not take this initial encounter in Dallas at the level that it should have been. The county officials have been excellent, but the infrastructure of the Texas Presbyterian and understanding what was happening to Mr. Duncan did not translate to those frontliners, those nurses and techs and others, and that is unfair to them. And so I am very frustrated with that. I will also say that the Centers for Disease Control suffers from the continued gridlock in Washington and Republicans not funding fully. Even though the fight against Ebola is bipartisan, the CDC has suffered in its funding along with the NIH. If we ever get called back to Washington early, that's what we should be called back for, and I would certainly join to do that. We need those resources. So my offer is this. I believe that there should be a coming together of Homeland Security and the CDC and the NIH in this instance, particularly FEMA, which is utilized during emergency situations, and there should be on-the-ground training at selected hospitals across America. I also think that there should be continued calls to nurses for training on protocol.
But I guess, again, back to the initial question, this is a situation where we are seeing a reaction and not a proactive approach from the government, whether it is funding or something as simple as having a plan in place. And I use the word simple in that what does the CDC do if they don't prepare for situations like this? You've been a guest on this show. We've talked about the situation in West Africa, thousands of deaths. We do not live in a bubble. If the CDC is not planning for things like this, how can we have confidence in that agency, and how can you have confidence in that agency?
Cameron, you make a very good point, but I do think it's important to take note that the CDC, in combination with certain hospitals, did handle those first cases of U.S. citizens coming out of Sierra Leone, Liberia, and Guinea into the United States, and all of those individuals have recovered. What I think is missing is the targeted help that now they know that they needed to have. They missed that point. There's no doubt on that. But I will say that it does not undermine my confidence in the skilled personnel that is at the CDC. I think they have to be more responsive. I held a meeting at my airport at least a week before the announcement about lifting the protocols on incoming passengers, and I made the point that there should be lifting the protocols on screening, but that there should be a Centers for Disease Control center at every single major international airport in the United States. That has not yet been done. I believe that should be done. Part of it is resources. Then secondarily, let's count nurses and techs and other health professionals as frontliners, like first responders. And they should get special care, whether it is daily phone calls on protocol. The equipment most likely is there, but the protocols are not there. I'll be meeting with my nurses in Houston. Tell me if the protocols are there, because they are the frontliners for saving lives.
As we've heard over and over. Congresswoman, thank you so much for your time. We look forward to speaking with you again. Thank you.